Welcome to Invest Out West podcast. I'm Nat Micken.
And I'm Kahlia Micken. We are a husband and wife team who live and invest in Western Queensland.
Join us on our journey of creating passive income through mindset, business, crypto, and property investing. Welcome to Invest Out West episode number 29.
Today, the quote we'd like to lead with is from the great Satoshi Nakamoto himself, and it says, "If you don't believe it or don't get it, I don't have the time to try to convince you. Sorry."
Yeah, so we're recording this podcast from Sydney, long way from home, long way from Hughenden, and we've just been to the annual crypto convention, the Australian crypto convention. Just an incredible event. We went to last year's event in Melbourne, and this year, just the same sort of thing. Like I said, an incredible event. It's the largest event in the Southern Hemisphere, largest crypto event in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's only its third event. This was only the third, so it's still a fairly new thing, and it just it never disappoints us. It's just a chance to meet like-minded people, people that are passionate about crypto like us, and just what you learn, like just from the keynote speakers. There's just that many events on all day for the over the 2 days, and you've sort of got to work out what you really want to attend because there's just that much on at once. It's just an incredible abundance, and so like I said, you meet a lot of people that are in this space, and sort of it gives you a chance to bounce ideas off each other. And then you sort of go to one of the keynotes and listen to what they've got to say, and it can sort of confirm what you're thinking, or let you question what you're thinking about a certain topic or a certain coin or a certain way that you're investing in a certain project, and I find that it's just it's more a case of you mightn't just go and just learn something straight away, but you can come away and say, okay, that has made me question my thinking behind like my certain thesis behind a certain coin or something like that, and it can either confirm or make you wonder, is there a better way with a certain coin or something like that. We found that the theme very much from the speakers this time around was exit plan, because as most people in the crypto space would know, is that anybody in the crypto space needs to be exiting sort of mid sort of around mid next year. We're going to start to exit probably the start of Q2 next year, and by next event, so by next crypto convention, which will be sort of around this time next year, late November next year, most crypto investors will need to be out of the game, because it'll be most likely starting to come down by then. The market will be really starting to retrace. So that's why the theme was so heavy this time. That it was sort of we needed to know that information this time around, because next time will be too late for our exit plans. A big question sort of I found on everybody's lips, including some of the keynote speakers even, was what to do with our bags of Bitcoin. It's pretty easy to know what we're going to all do with our altcoins. It'll just be a case of get rid of them, every last one of them, probably, for most of us and most of our coins. By the end of next year, we'll probably most likely have nothing left. But what about our Bitcoin? Do we sell it or do we hold it? And I sort of found that some people were thinking along the lines of probably getting rid of half of our holdings of Bitcoin and keeping the other half through until next cycle. And that sort of will give everybody, I guess you could say, a bet each way, because you'll be able to like take profits on half of your holdings. So it's not going to waste, but the other half will be kept so that the very reason why we're all in crypto is to we're here to make money, but the big reason is that we don't trust governments and we don't trust the financial system. So the risk is that if there was a massive crash in world currencies, after you sell all your Bitcoin holdings and say world currencies crashed, and especially the American dollar, if some big black swan event was to crash fiat currencies, then we're left very exposed if we're not holding Bitcoin, which is the very reason why we hold Bitcoin in the first place. So I think that's probably a fairly good idea, at this stage in the market, to get rid of half of it and hold the other half through like forever type of thing. That way we're always got exposure to Bitcoin if the worst happens. So yeah, that's sort of what I really wanted to touch on here, was that was the big theme of this convention, was get yourself ready, get yourself positioned so that when we start to exit, we know what we're doing. We're not sort of thinking, okay, how do we go about this? And getting our plans in place. And that was what sort of a lot of the keynotes were about, was get yourself in order, because we're not far away from having to exit our plans. So we're probably, we're looking at 6 months from now when we need to be starting to get our exit plans in place. So that's why there was such a big emphasis on exit plans this time around. So that's sort of what I wanted to touch on. Kahlia, did you want to talk about what you want to talk about now?
Yeah, so the actual event itself, the energy that you felt in the room, or even before the actual event started, well, like we got to the International Convention Centre here in Sydney probably about half an hour, three quarters of an hour early, and just the energy of people standing around outside, just hovering around, waiting for those doors to open to get into the crypto convention, was absolutely electric. And it just goes to show, I guess the momentum and the movement that's coming with crypto, and people are just like they're jigging on the spot for what the industry is bringing to the table, and what the industry, like how the industry is changing people's lives. And so the event was just phenomenal. It was packed. It was a lot more packed in the facility than what it was in Melbourne last year. And like you're just constantly just bumping into people and rubbing shoulders and such things, because it was so tight and so full. And just the feeling of the euphoria that was there across the 2 days was absolutely phenomenal. But the organisers done a fantastic job of pulling it all together and arranging magnificent magnificent speakers and magnificent panels, for debates and such things, and you walk away and your head's just spinning, and there's no way that you can contain all the information. But there's just a few things here that I wanted to touch on that really stuck with me. So the first thing that I wanted to touch on one of the panels that I participated in, they were having a massive big debate about the difference between crypto gains and the tax system, so crypto gains versus crypto tax. And one of the biggest takeaways from there was that taxes are certain, whereas profits are not. And of course their arguing sides were the people who are focused on gains say, get in and make your money, and you're gonna pay tax anyway. Whereas the people who are talking from a tax perspective were saying, get all your ducks in a row and make sure you've got all your tax stuff sorted before you race out and bite the bullet, so to speak. And I sort of felt myself sitting in the middle. I think I'm a bit more inclined to go with the tax strategy first, but that's really comes back to the situation, that like the portfolio that we hold, and the many different assets that we hold, not just in crypto but across our our whole diverse range of portfolios. But it was just so good just to sit there and listen and soak in these four people up on the stage with the panelists there beside them, like just laying it all out and giving you dinky die honest truths about how they see the crypto, like how they see the crypto industry in the market and how to manage your portfolio and so forth and so on. So that was one of the biggest things. That was a big thing for me. I actually attended, like numerous, events, numerous speakers on tax and strategy and such things, just to really soak in the different options that we have, of how we manage our portfolio going forward. And a couple of other points that were made throughout the event. Was the fact that with cryptocurrency, like we're coming into the whole Christmas, New Year, what's classed as a shutdown period here in Australia. And crypto doesn't stop. So in the crypto space, you can just trade crypto 24/7. Christmas, New Year's Day, no matter what, it constantly trades. Whereas if you were to do shares and other such markets, they all have their Christmas break, all have their Christmas shutdown. And that's a really good point as well. Is simply for the fact that crypto simply doesn't stop. No matter where you are in the world, crypto is always there to be traded. And the other point that I wanted to touch on, we attended our last session that we attended for the crypto convention was a talk on crypto-backed loans. And I was just trying to remember whether we spoke on this last year, because the same company was at the convention last year. But they've got a lot more momentum now, and they've punched out like $30 million worth in crypto-backed loans in the last 12 months alone. But just a point that they made, which was very fascinating, is they said that in 2014, the average house price here in Sydney was around 735,000, and back then, so back in 2014, you would have had to like the comparison to that would have been 707 Bitcoin to pay for a $735,000 property in Sydney. Whereas today, they said in 2024, the average house price in Sydney here is 1.46 million. And with the price of Bitcoin sitting at where it is now, you would need, around 10, I should say less than 10 Bitcoin in your portfolio to be able to buy like a house of the same value here in Sydney. So it's just phenomenal the way that the crypto industry has moved so fast. So we're talking going from like 700 plus Bitcoin back to 10 Bitcoin to buy a property here in Sydney. So it was just the whole session was just so fascinating and so full of amazing, little pieces of information to help us, who are so passionate about the industry, drive it further and continue to talk about it. Now, just a couple of other things that I want to touch on as takeaways from the convention itself. So we at the convention, we signed up to another education like another training platform, and that's with the Mining Store / Imperial Wealth. So the Mining Store we touched on last year was when we bought our Bitcoin miner through them last year, and then now they've got another company that works beside the Mining Store company called Imperial Wealth Crypto, and they offer a trading academy, like an academy for people who want to learn about crypto. And of course they had a crypto convention special, and being someone who's deeply passionate about investing in ourselves and in expanding our education so we can then take that further, we jumped all over over it. So as soon as we get home in probably about, a week's time or better, we will jump straight into that, and we'll start to bring, start to bring into focus what this new education platform will do for us once we get a bit of momentum there. The other thing I want to talk about was there was a new company there called Shping, Shping. And so this is an app, and I just went and talked to them. They had a little stand there, fairly new, like they've been going for a little while, but relatively new, where you can earn rewards. This isn't only just in the crypto space, but you can get it in Australian dollars as well, so it's a bit more across the board. You can get rewards from uploading your receipts. So it's an app that you download to your phone, and you take photos of your receipts, and then you can earn rewards, and you can either then transfer them rewards back into Australian dollars or back into cryptocurrency. But what really piqued my interest was not only from a consumer perspective, but from a business perspective. And as a lot of people would know, we have a couple of e-commerce stores, and my question to them was how can we integrate this shopping app back to our e-commerce store? So that's something that we're going to be looking into moving forward as well, just to give rewards back to to our customers. But it's well worthwhile looking into, because you can upload any receipts, like from your hardware to your groceries, to whatever you're doing. You just take a photo of your receipt and upload that into the app, and you can earn your rewards from that. Now, a couple of other things. Another thing I want to touch on, which we got at the crypto convention, was another form of cold storage. So cold storage in the crypto space is where you store your cryptocurrency, where, like in the crypto term, it's called a cold wallet, meaning that the wallet where your cryptocurrency is stored on under its own private keys is not connected to the internet. And so we currently use two different brands of cold storage wallet, one being Trezor and one being Ledger. However, this one here is totally different. And I got one of these for free. All I had to do at the crypto convention was take a photo and post it to Twitter with the booth holder, and he then gave me one of these new cold storage wallets. And all it is, it's about the size of a credit card. And I'll just give a bit of a disclaimer. Like I haven't opened this yet. I haven't started using it. I'm only going off what he has said. Of course, I will try this. I will set it all up once I get home and be able to explain it better. But it's the size of a credit card. It's like a stainless steel, credit card size. And like they were punching out big time about how convenient it is and how easy it is to set up, and how secure it is. And they reckon it's the new thing for cryptocurrency storage moving forward. So I want to touch on that, because once I've got it set up, I'll also talk further about what I think about it and how to use it. Now, the last point that I wanted to make before I hand it back over to Nat was there was two stalls that I saw. There may have been more. Like it was just packed. You simply couldn't talk to everybody. But there was two stalls that I talked to specifically, which are cryptocurrency brokers. And I deliberately went and talked to both of these stalls, just so I could learn a little bit more, like to share with other people. I mean, of course, I don't use a broker for our investments. I do it all myself. But I went to talk to them just to sort of understand how they work, and how they can help others who aren't quite, as, what's the word, like technically minded to understand how to invest in crypto themselves. You can definitely go through a broker. And one of them here that I got a flyer from is called Vantage. You may have heard of them before. They don't just do cryptocurrency. They do a range of different, commodities and such things. So everything from, like shares and bonds, ETFs and of course all of the other commodities. And now they've brought crypto in, and like they had a massive stall there. So they're pushing big time about being crypto brokers. So I just wanted to touch on that as well. For those who are, sort of sitting on the edge wishing that they could jump in, it is really easy to jump in if you find a really good broker. Of course, everything that I've touched on here, nothing that I've said is ever financial advice, but it's just another opening, for people who want to get out there and get really involved. Now, just one more point before I wanted to pass the mic back to Nat. is I wanted to touch on the people in the room there and the questions that were being asked from the panelists and from the keynote speakers. Now, a lot of the sessions that I sat in, they would ask questions, like who's been in crypto for 5 years, and who's been in crypto for more than 2 years, and who's been in crypto, who has never invested in crypto. And of course, you'd see all the hands raised, for the 5 years plus, and you see all those who raised their hands for, like that 2 years. And then when the question come around to ask, who has never invested in crypto, the amount of hands that shot up in the rooms that I was in was amazing. There was a stack of people there who had never ever even invested in crypto, but they were there to soak in the atmosphere, to learn, all that they could, so then they could start to build, their own financial cryptocurrency portfolio. And so I got a lot of inspiration from that, in knowing that the crypto convention isn't just, for people who are already in the industry, but for those who are watching from the sidelines and who are desperate to get in, they're desperate to learn more, and desperate to really tap into, into what cryptocurrency can do for them and for their lives. So that's what I wanted to leave you with. It's been an amazing convention, and yeah, it was definitely well worth our trip down here to Sydney to participate in it. Yeah,
it definitely was. I just looked up the statistics just before, and so Aussies now, so we're looking at one in 5 Aussies own crypto. That's how many Aussies own crypto. So 1 in 5, which is incredible. That it's getting that much of a go on, and we're still so early in the crypto space. And like Kahlia was saying, the energy in the room was just incredible at the event. Everybody, I just couldn't help but feel that everybody was on the same page. Like, everybody was just there for one purpose, and that was to learn about crypto. And it didn't matter, like Kahlia said, didn't matter whether there was newbies or people that had been around multiple cycles. They were all there together, and they were all wanting to learn, because that is the name of the game with crypto. It's a case of just learning, and you can never ever say with crypto that I know all that there is to know, because it's just like a rabbit warren when you start digging into it. There's just that much to learn, that not even experienced crypto people believe that they know, that they even know much about it, because there's just so much to learn. Another thing I just wanted to touch on, Kahlia just touched on it before too, when we bought our Bitcoin miner last year. They did a keynote there, that shop, and which is called the Mining Store. And I asked a question about selling our machine. So when we bought our machine last year, they suggested that because we were buying the machine sort of still fairly well firmly in like in the bear market, they suggested that we could probably sell the machine down the track for probably more than what we paid, or roughly about the same amount of money as what we paid. So these mining machines have about a 4-year lifespan, which is ironic, because that coincides with the 4-yearly cycle in crypto. So you can buy a machine like in the bear market, run it for 2 years, make all your Bitcoin out of it, and then sell it off after 2 years as a half-life machine. When the bull run is starting to really kick into gear, when a lot of miners are wanting to mine Bitcoin more than ever, and there's not the machines, like demand outstrips supply, so the machines just aren't there. So therefore, that's why you can often sell a miner machine for the same money, or possibly even more than what you paid for it to start with, and you've already made a fair bit of Bitcoin out of that machine. So I asked these fellas, I said, is that still something that we should do? And they said, yeah, it probably will. Probably looking at around about mid next year is when the price for secondhand machines will shoot up, and we'll make a decision then whether we get rid of it or keep it a bit longer, or what we're going to do with it. So just wanted to touch on that as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about was a machine there that were that had a stall at the event was a company called CoinFlip. Now, this is a machine that is just like an ATM, except it works with crypto. So it's a cash to crypto machine. So you can either put cash in or cash out, and you can. So if you want to put cash in, so just folding notes, feed them into the machine, and then you just have an app on your phone, and that will go straight into Bitcoin. So that is held then in Bitcoin. Those folding notes that you just fed into the machine, suddenly you've got that much in Bitcoin. So say you want to get some cash back out again whenever into the future, you just go to any one of these machines, just access the app again on your phone and put in how much you want out in fiat currency, and it'll just spit the cash back out, and just like a normal ATM. So I believe that is a really big breakthrough for the likes of boomers, people that just don't know how to go about buying and selling crypto themselves and worrying about storage, that sort of thing. It's just a case of it's really a case of bridging the gap between crypto and cash. That's all that it is. So the likes of boomers, where a lot of boomers are still using cash, they can just go directly with cash and buy crypto. So I think that is a really good idea. And getting around here in Sydney, we actually saw one of these machines in a shopping centre here. So that just proved to us that they are getting a presence, and they told us there at the event that they want to start branching out into more outer areas, and then eventually sort of get further into rural areas and that sort of thing. So I think that there's really no limit for that company in Australia. They can just go Australia wide with that, and there's Kahlia just mentioned it before about crypto lending, where you just get a loan against your Bitcoin or Ethereum. And I asked the question on the mic there that because sort of people who don't know where we live and our situation, people mightn't realise what's called postcode discrimination. When we want to buy real estate and the postcode stops the bank from lending in that particular area. So I actually asked on the mic at this keynote, I said, is that, this postcode discrimination, is that a thing with this style of lending? And they said no, because a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. If your Bitcoin is enough to pay back the loan if you default or whatever, then it doesn't matter where you live or where you're buying the real estate that you're loaning, that you're getting a loan to buy with your crypto. So that is something that we definitely will be looking at in the future, when our Bitcoin and Ethereum holdings will warrant taking out a decent loan against to buy real estate. So that was definitely something there at the event that was a highlight for me. There was stalls there that were that were there last year that aren't there this year, that we sort of had, we had sort of fair bit of faith in some projects last year that haven't performed this year, and they didn't turn up to the event. And so that just sort of tells us that, that confirmed with us that, them sorts of projects probably aren't around to stay. The ones that have been there that we have seen twice, it just led us to more conviction about those projects and those coins and those companies. 1 Inch, for example, I have had doubts about 1 Inch recently, because we own a fairly big bag of 1 Inch, and they were at the event last year, and they were again this year. So that just sort of give me more confidence about the 1 Inch project, that they're still, sticking it out with coming to these events, and their presence is there. So, them sorts of things just give you more confidence about the crypto industry, and just as the crypto industry as a whole, like, it just, whoever you talk to was just that upbeat about crypto, and where it's going to be sort of going over the next sort of 6 to 8, 8 to 10 months. Is just, everybody's just that excited, and it was just incredible to feel that energy in the room. Kahlia, do you have anything to finish up before we end it off?
No, I think I'm pretty cruisy. I guess, just grateful for the team behind the Australian Crypto Convention who worked this massive event. They've got full-time employees to make this event a success. And again, next year there's talk about being here in Sydney again. So, but no, just an awesome event. And so grateful to be part of it and to have the, to be able to partake in that experience. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was an incredible experience. And just for us, even ourselves, coming to Sydney, it's good to see that side of things for us, like how the city people live, and just to see the money that is in the city, and it's a good lesson to us, that money is actually no barrier. It's just a case of that. You just got to find a way of getting your hands on the money, and crypto is that way for us. And we actually climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge yesterday, and from up on top of the bridge, and you just look out over the city, and you try to imagine how much money is involved to build a city like that. And so it just sort of shows you that the money is there, and our way of getting into some of that big money is through the crypto space, and that's what everybody's theme was at the crypto event, was just they're just so excited about the money involved and where the crypto industry is going over the course of next year. So that's about all we've got on this one, and keep living the dream.